Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next anime review for Anime Month of June, birthday month slash birthday month. So for the next series, which is of season one, because season two is gonna come is set to premiere next month, so I'll definitely look forward to it. So now I'm reviewing season one though of another one of my definitely one of my top three favorites of 2024, no doubt about it, and that is the first season of Kaiju number 8. Kaiju number 8, which I absolutely love. I love Kaiju number 8. It was a hype series and it definitely lived up to its expectations and it did not fail. And a lot of people loved it, and so do I. Now, Kaiju number 8. Now, this is a DVD that I bought from eBay. There's no official Blu-ray release yet, though. But hey, as long as it's both in the English, it's as long as it's in the English, that's what matters. So, but I really enjoy Kaiju number 8. I thought not only that, once again, when I first saw it, the Japanese voice actors, they did a good job, and but I also but like I said, I always enjoy the English dub, like I always said for all the longest time though. So, but Kaiju number 8, it was a hype series before it came out, and now it definitely lived up the hype, and it was a very successful show. And now, like I said, the season two is set to premiere next month, and I definitely look forward to seeing it. And especially now with Kafka now, now that people the inside of his division knows what he is. But I might get a little ahead though, but anyway, but it does it receives a lot of high ratings. It has a 4.9 out of 5 on Crunchyroll. Just damn near perfect series, and has a high 8.3 in IMDb. Definitely a high rating for this. Of course, I would get it higher because I love the series. But yeah, a lot of critically acclaimed from critics and stuff. So, but if anyone know, okay, Kaiju number 8 in this setting, it's an alternative, uh, in this alternative world, which I always thought was like a cross between Attack on Titan and Pacific Rim, just without just without them controlling robots, right? So, but I always thought like it's a mixture of Attack on Titan with Pacific Rim in a way. But in this alternate version, these kaiju's they just appear regularly, and I like how there's just like people get notifications and there is like kaiju alerts, right? Some people just like casually get to the safeties and stuff by the escorted by the police or military, right? Because it's like a regular thing. So like, sometimes the people are so casual about it because it's a regular thing. And so we have is the self defense force, which is the divided divisions. The third division is led by Mina Ashio. Yeah, Ashiro Mina Ashiro. And so she's the leader. She's the captain of the third division, and she's the best ranked in the force in the current Celtic force has, and she has this pet white tiger that's with her. Her special weapon is shooting this big huge laser cannon, which special only certain special cadets like the captain or vice captain or higher ups can use these specialized weapons because they've been forged from the bodies of kaiju's, which specifically numbered kaiju's. So they blast this one kaiju. She blasts one big hole. People celebrate, you know, and then but afterwards there is the cleanup crew. The cleanup crew that cleans that cuts down, or dissect and clean up the messes of the kaiju, right? And we have our main character, Kafka, Kafka Hibino, and so he and which we have that which him and Mina, they were childhood friends. Back when they were kids, like Mina lost her parents to kaiju's, right? And same with Kafka, right? So back when they were kids, there's a 5 year gauge gap difference. I think Kafka is 32 and Mina is 27. But back when they were kids, they made a promise to Kafka made a promise to her. Hey, we'll both join the defense force and see and we can fight. We can become like the higher ups and we can fight these kaiju's together and stand by each other's side. So they made a promise to that, but sadly, that never came to be because Kafka has failed a whole bunch of times, and then where he failed, Mina succeeded, and she does kind of resent Kafka because of the promise he broke to her. So she does kind of have that. She just have that little bit of that cold expression that she has, right? So she has has resented like Kafka of that over the years. So now that Kafka, he's stuck in cleanup crew, and but thing is, the positive out of all this, by doing so much of this cleanup stuff that he does, he becomes Kafka is very knowledgeable of the insides and outs of kaiju's because he's been dissecting in and out of these dead bodies, so he has become knowledgeable of the anatomies of the kaiju's, which is later it does help when by the time he joins the team, he helps his comrades out by what certain there's by pointing out there's certain weak points or where their cores are located. That has become a big benefit to the team because of his knowledge. And so while in the cleanup crew, they get a new recruit by the name of Ichikawa, which Ichikawa is voiced by Adam MacArthur, who voices the lead in Jujutsu Kaisen. Um, yes, he voices the lead in Jujutsu Kaisen, so he voices Ichikawa. So he's the new recruit. Kafka takes him, anyway, takes him under his wing to show him the ropes around. And then one evening, one evening they get attacked by a kaiju. Kafka tells Ichikawa to run, call for help. He'll lead it away. But Ichikawa does. First, Kafka saves Ichikawa, then Ichikawa saves him. And Kafka was about to die, but until when Mina steps and saves him. He looks at her. He looks at her, but he instantly remembers what happened, so he doesn't want to say anything to her now, because otherwise she's gonna ignore him. So they're both in the hospital, and both of them join the defense force together. And while that, this kaiju parasite just flies right into Kafka's mouth, and Ichikawa pulls the curtain back, and now he sees that he's been transformed to the kaiju that we know of. He's basically one of the most powerful kaiju's, which they name him Kaiju number 8, which means he's the 8th kaiju that has been given a number in a long time. Because later towards the end, the general of the division of the defense force, because he has a special weapon that's been forged from the bodies of Kaiju number 2, and Kaiju number 2 goes back to way back to the 70s when it appeared. So, but Kafka has been named Kaiju number 8, so he's been the first one to give a number in quite some time. But they both run away because an old guy sees a kaiju. He calls the defense force. So they both run away. Kafka realizes how insanely strong he is. And yeah, you do get the moment when they're running that he has to go to the bathroom. How does he piss, right? Oh, he ends up pissing out of his nipples. Yeah, I know it's meant to be funny, which I do get though. But you know how I am about piss jokes and fart jokes and little shit jokes, right? Yeah, but I think I need to see that he pissed out of his nipples. Get it? Because this is a kaiju. Where's his junk at? Right? oh, he pisses out of his nipples. It's a nitpick joke though, but I've seen some of the I've seen humor better. The humor in this outweighs the joke in this more than the other stuff. So, but now that he's a kaiju, he does have a stronger sense. He can hear another kaiju from a little bit of ways away, and a kaiju is attacking this girl and her mom. He he saves them. Blow with his incredible power. He blows this one kaiju to bits and just rains blood. That's another thing. This show is very gory and bloody, especially when they're dissecting the insides of the kaiju's. But times when it just rains blood, and so he tells Ichikawa's there and gotta say, hey, it's okay. Don't need to be afraid, you know. So by the time the defense force gets there, Mina and the vice captain, Hoshina, they're both wondering what happened here, because this doesn't look like what we didn't do. We didn't do this. Something else must have did it, you know. And the little girl tells Mina, "It's like, hey, we'll wipe out all the kaiju's." But the girl says, "What about the good one?" And they're like, "What? What good one?" So a month has passed, and now he's been called Kaiju number 8, dubbed the name number 8, and they both get accepted. They both get a letter. They both been accepted into the join the division. Which, let's say, Kafka said that like the paperwork is easy, but it's a training that he failed like 11 times, I think. And they just limited the age to like 35 or 34, I think, because I think he's 32. So they limited it just below his age, exceeded age range. So, and of course, the people, some of the trainees, some of the new trainees, they mock him because he's older. You know, he's like he's the old man of the group. You know, and then of course they meet with another one of the top trainee of the group. Then that is of Shinomiya, which I talked about before when I was reviewing when I first saw her in the episode reviews, how, you know, arrogant, cocky she is, because she's like the top. She's a top in her schools, great grades, top grades, and all that stuff, right? So, she definitely has a big ego, but she does kind of let that go by towards the end of the series, when she thinks differently, especially when she was knocking down Kaga, but she thinks differently after when he transformed in front of her and saved her. So they kind of like changed it a little bit that differently though. So I was like, oh, you're an arrogant a-hole, right? But that her character changes shortly afterwards, after almost being killed by number 9. So. And so she has a little bit of a power to push their company car, because she didn't like that one. Oh, that's my parking spot. That's my lucky parking spot number. So he pushes their van aside, and she was shocked to see how Kafka easily lifted the whole van up. So I was like, wait, he's not wearing a suit. But then they go through the training, you know, like some of the workout training. He's out of shape, right? Because he's older, but he's a little bit of fat, has a little bit of a gut on him. But they mock because he's the old man in the group. But they do line up when they get all the trainees and then get in the bath and they share stories, and they're all shocked to hear that he was childhood friends with Mina. Like, what? You and the captain were childhood friends? I want to hear all the details about that. So you get the little funny moment where they spend too much time in the bath because they're talking about it, and then they passed out from the bath. And so then they get their power suits on. Like, all of the cadets, they have a high level percentage, right? But like Kafka has only 0%. So they do standard training out in this part of the city that's wrecked though, but they use it as a training ground. So they do some practice targets on these kaijus that they captured for target practice. And so they get in there. Of course, Shinomiya, you know, showing off that she's the best one, because she wants to be perfect, because she has to prove to her dad, who's the general, of the director general of the self defense force, because we see flashbacks back when she was a kid. She got top grades, but her dad was not around to congratulate her while all the other kids had parents, right? So yeah, and he's always telling her be perfect, be perfect, right? Because he resents he hates the Kaijus because they killed his wife, Shinamiya's mother. So that's what he's saying. Always be perfect, right? So and this is what Kafka. Yeah, he's not a fighter though, but he's very knowledgeable of the weak points of the certain kaiju since he's dissected so many, right? So they say, hey, aim for the belly, and that was a help to them. Or yeah, aim for the belly, and then and so that was a big help to them. Then we come to this bigger kaiju. Supposedly would have died, but then we enters kaiju number 9. Kaiju number 9 is the intelligent kaiju, humanoid figure looking, but still a kaiju though. It can talk, right? Shiemiya is shocked that it can talk. She didn't expect such attacks from the kaiju because she was the projectiles out of its finger, and she gets badly injured, and it brings like the dead kaiju's back, and that's when Kafka saves her by transforming in front of her and tells her, "Hey, please keep my secret." And so, Kaiju number 9 escapes, but destroys that dead kaiju, blows it to pieces. And the people back at the headquarters, they're detecting a much bigger kaiju power, because his Kafka's kaiju power ranks up to like 9 point something, the highest of kaiju powers. So, but they were wondering who is it? Oh, it's kaiju number 8, but where'd he go? So, he tells Shiemiya, they tell Shiemiya and tells her to keep her secret because they owe her for saving her life. And so now they put on their first real mission, where there's a bunch of these fungi type kaiju's, and so the third division is handling it. Like I said, Kafka once again is in his knowledge of the insides of the kaiju's, tells him where the core is. That's where he had to get him at, which once again it proves helpful. But then one thing lead to another, where this giant tower of fungi, where Mina takes it out with her giant kaiju cannon, and then Ichikawa and the other one, the other trainee, one has like the shark, had like the I wish he had like the shark like teeth. Um, yeah, Furuhashi, kind of like reddish hair with shark teeth, right? Furuhashi. They both get attacked by Kaiju number 9. They both get attacked. They're both injured, almost on the brink of death. But they did see. Oh, now they can see, but they can project where his projectile's coming out of his finger. But they still get badly injured, and that's when Kafka saves them, beats the hell out of Kaiju number 9, but managed to escape because the division soldiers were on him. So, and then it's with the vice captain. He gets to a scuffle with the vice captain, and he's super fast with his two blades. He cuts like one of Kaka's arm off, but he's able to generate it again. And so the vice captain's fast, but he's questioning the kaiju's fighting style. It's like he keeps on dodging and dodging. It's almost like he's dodging like a human. Like he deflects his blade. He had a chance to kill him, but he didn't. He only just took his blade out. So he's just questioning what's going on with this with number 8, right? And he does see he gets a little pouty because he lets Kaiju number 8 get away. And so, but then later and then afterwards, Kafka, because of his knowledge of kaiju's and helping the team out big time, he gets promoted to officer in the 3rd division, in which he's really happy, which means he's one step closer of standing by Mina's side, but not yet though. You know, He may be an officer, but she says she still has a long ways from standing by my side. But then but later in the night they get ambushed by these wyvern type kaiju's led by the leader. You can say, but you say kaiju number 10, another intellectual kaiju. They get ambushed. They target the headquarters. They're all fighting against it. Once again, Kafka where their weak points are for these wyverns, but since they're intelligent, they're protecting each other they're protecting each other, and so, and then since Mina's not there, the vice captain gets into the fight with Kaiju number 9. And what I got to one thing I gotta mention really quick. That not only the visuals are great, especially when it comes to the action, the visuals are great. Stellar animation. And the score, I loved. I love the score to this, because there's bits when Kaiju number 10 transforms. When it transforms, you did get a bit of the music of Godzilla. You know, dun 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 dun. So that was nice. That was nice. They included little bits of music from Godzilla, because it's fitting, because Godzilla is a kaiju basically, so it is kind of fitting. So that was nice. They add that bit of that Godzilla music in there. That was cool to hear. And I gotta mention, I love the opening. I love the intro opening. No, the intro itself is visually beautiful to look at, but I love the song "Abyss" by Young Blood. Can someone please save my life? Can someone please save my life? 'Cause I've gone cold. I love that song. That was one of the best intro songs, or best intros of definitely of the year of 2024 easily. I think that is the best song and intro of an introduction of an anime of 2024, I would say. I mean, I enjoy the intros like Dun 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 Dun, right? Or Go Go Loser Ranger back then, but among others though. But I think Kaiju number 8's intro and soundtrack song takes the cake easily, because I listened to that song over 100 times since they came out. Up until now, it's probably maybe at least 200 times, because I love that song. Because that's such an awesome song, you know. But yeah, the intro itself was very visually to look at, because a little bit of it was like live action when they made it. We see like a live action version of Mina and Kafka standing together side by side, and like a live action version of the kaiju number 8 itself, just when it shows the title. Really visually beautiful to look at for the intro. And I said I love the song by Young Blood, "Abyss." So. But the soundtrack for the series, was great. I love the soundtrack, especially nice hearing bits of those Godzilla music, and the visual animation, especially when it came to the action, was visually well done. It was great, stellar looking. I would probably say slick too as well. So, but anyway. So Vice Captain is fighting with Kaiju number 9. He does get his butt kicked though, but he still, thanks to his suit, he still manages to still keep kicking for a bit. But then he changes into this big gigantic kaiju. That's when we get the Godzilla music playing, and so they all create distractions. And now Shinomiya, she gets a weapon of her own, this big special axe, and with Mina shooting it with her cannon again, and everything seems over, right? But no, all the wyvern kaijus, they form together to transform into like this big nuclear kaiju bomb, and it's going to completely level the entire city. But then that's when Kafka steps in, transforms in front of everybody, much to the shock faces of Mina and the vice captain, you know. And then so Kafka saves him, he pulls a Superman, right? He pulls a Superman and pushes it far away from the city into the sky as far as he could before it explodes. But then at the end, they all, Mina and other troops, they all point their guns at him and say, Kaiju number 8, you're under arrest. Which, you know, he knows he's screwed up, but at the same time, he saved the city, though. And his kind of part of me is like, especially the higher ups, like the director and all the people who sit in there and sit at the table, like the council, right? Like the council. Especially that bald bastard guy. And I'm like, I'm thinking, he saved your city, and this is how you treat him. Oh, because he's a kaiju now. Doesn't matter, right? So he's been taken in custody. Everyone in the team is shocked to hear what he is. And so they bring him out to be transferred. And so him and Mina are in the truck together. And while it's going on, out there, as they're driving away, the vice captain and everyone else salute. Which, by the way, because they say, "Oh, they're saluting to the captain," right? But in reality, they're saluting to Kafka. They're saluting to Kafka because after what the vice captain said to Kafka and everything else, he is saluting to Kafka. Yes, and that bald bastard, whoever he is on the council, whatever say, he's like, yeah, you better be saluting the captain. No one can salute a monster. At that point, that's I'm like, fuck you, you know, you ungrateful bitch. He saved your city. If it was for him, all you guys would have been dead by now. Yeah, with that bald bastard, I wanted to punch him in the face, you know. Yeah, okay. Next time, just let your city get destroyed, and you and the rest of everybody in it. How about that? How about them apples? A-hole, asshole. Yeah, you better be saluting the captain. You know what was a salute because you're not salute a monster. Screw you. What do? You just sitting there discussing what to do, you know. But anyway, Kafka's talking to Mina. He's like, "Hey, I'm sorry, you know, but I still because Mina's is trying. He despite her cold demeanor towards him, she still cares about him because she says she wants to build evidence to support him, you know, to get him out. So he's happy to hear that. He's like, after this, will I still stand by your side? And she says to him, I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you. And he was happy to hear that. It brought him to tears. So she still does care about him, but just this all that time, you know, it was like, yeah, I know he broke the promise up, but he still, he may have broke your promise, but you know, Kafka is a good guy at heart. He means well. He's willing to sacrifice to help to save his comrades. You know, he's definitely a good guy at heart. Definitely, doesn't matter if he's a kaiju or not. He's still willing to fight by her side still. And so he's brought him to this secured place, and the director, General Shinamiya, her father, is now going to test him by fighting him with these specialized power gloves. You know, couldn't say gauntlets made from the bodies of Kaiju number 2, which we show that was from the 70s. And so he tries to say, "Hey, I'm human," trying to transform, but he has no choice. He transforms. Is fighting the general, but he's getting the beaten hell out of him until the kaiju part of him, that's the parasite that's still inside of him, takes over. You know, it takes over his body. He has no control over himself until finally he starts to beat the general. So he tries fighting it, but then he knows that he sees the vision of younger Mina. Hey, take my hand. Our promise, right? So he stops himself by punching a hole in his chest. And say, I'm not a kaiju. I'm Kafka, even though. And then he passes out. So the general basically, overall, he was just testing him. So he shows that he is he's still a human in a way. So he has the medic save him. And everyone on their phones are getting messages on their phones that Kafka's alive. Shinamiya definitely is relieved. And Ichikawa is happy to hear that because he said, hey, I have faith in you. You're going to come back to us. And which he did. And we see Mina smile after she got the message. She smiles, say, "Hey." Well, she didn't say anything, but I know in her mind, like, "Oh, thank God he's all right." That was going through her. That's what I think it was going through her mind, because she's smiling like this, and it's like he's like, "Thank God he's alive." Like I said, overall she does still care about him. So overall, after that, um, he's now in the hospital with that big scar in the middle of his chest, which kind of reminds me. It kind of reminds me of Parasite with Shinichi when he got impaled by the parasite that took over his mother's body, and so Miki repaired the hole, in which his hole right through his chest and back. It kind of reminded me of the same kind of patch hole in Kafka's chest. So the general's there, talks to us, "Hey, you're still gonna be part of the team, but we're just gonna monitor you at the same time, right? Because they can use his kaiju powers to help out though." And then while that's going on, we see just after the credits, we see Kaiju number 9 is still alive, and with another kaiju is standing behind him, they're in an apartment. He's on the computers playing chess with other people, right? Thinking how strategic humans are. And there's another kaiju in the shadows standing right behind him. So, and the voice of Kaiju number 8 is Alejandro Sab, or is it Sabe? I think it's Sabe. I think I mispronounced it again, but I think it's Sabe. Alejandro Sabe. He's the voice of Gabimaru the Hollow in Hell's Paradise. So yeah, so he voices Kaiju number 9. But overall, yeah, the whole English voice cast, they all did a good job. I love the show. I love the first season. I wonder how season 2 is gonna be. Is gonna be better than the first season 1, because I reviewed the series of season 2 of Soul Leveling. Soul Leveling season 2, I thought was much better than the first season, and same with like Oshinoko season 2. I thought the season 2 of Oshoko became better than the first season as well. So, will Kaiju number 8 season 2 be better than the first season? I have no idea though, so we'll have to wait and see though. But yeah, I love the series. I love season 1. The visuals, great. The soundtrack, the score of the series, great. The soundtrack, great. The intro song and the intro itself, love it. The English voice the English voice dub, great. The characters themselves, I enjoyed. So yeah, that's why a lot of people thought this was a great. People were hyping it up, and it definitely lived up to expectations, And so I definitely look forward to seeing season 2. And so hopefully eventually, I'll get the official Blu-ray when it comes out though. So I don't know when though. It's been over a year already though, when season 1 premiered though. So we'll have to wait and see though. But I'll stick to this though. As long as the English works, I'm fine with it for now. But yeah, season 1 of Kaiju number 8, 2 thumbs up, no doubt. But it's definitely in my top. It's in my top 3 favorites of 2024. It was next to Dan Da Da Dan. What was the other one I enjoyed? Well, there's been quite a few, but I know it's Dan Da Da Dan and Kaiju number 8. I'd probably say the best 2, probably, I would say. But no doubt about it. I love the series, so I'll definitely look forward to seeing season 2 though. See more of the characters, what's gonna become of more of with Kafka afterwards, now that they know what he is. With Mina, Shinomiya, Ichikawa, and the rest of the vice captain, and the rest of the main. I really the other 2 guys who also enjoyed the Division 2, but what comes of these characters well, so yeah. But season 1 of Kaiju number 8, 2 thumbs up, no doubt about it. I love it. So I love the song, the intro. Go listen to it. The song Abyss by Young Blood. 'Cause I've gone cold. No saying the best. Doom. So yeah. But Kaiju number 8 season 1, love it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next anime review, and we'll see you next time. Later.